Welcome to Jeff Brown Live. I'm your host, Jeff Brown. I am so excited because we have a lifetime opportunity right here before us. I had an interview, a one-on-one with Bishop J. Delano Ellis II, a pillar in the church community, along with his lovely wife, Dr. Sabrina Joyce Ellis. We have an opportunity because they're going to share with us some of their intimate issues and things that they've been through in their life and how they overcame. Guess what? This is something that you do not want to miss. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Jeff Brown Live. Bishop Ellis, most people really don't know who you are. They know you as Bishop Ellis. They know that you are a churchman in the local community in the church. But they really don't know your past. They don't know that you haven't been a Christian all your life, but they know and heard certain rumors as it relates to your past. But you really did grow up as a Muslim. You grew up in the Islamic religion, and I would like to know, and the viewers would like to know, what was the transition like for you? Was it difficult? It might not have been difficult, but what made you transition from the Islamic religion to Christianity?
Well, Brother Jeff, the first thing that comes to mind is it's not hard to know me. It's not important that anyone knows me. That's not important. But it's not hard. As a matter of fact, I've made it even easier. I just finished a biography book entitled From Ghetto to Glory, and it should be out in March. It's at the publisher now. Let's see, your question asks, what was the transition like? It was not hard. It was not hard, and I guess on this side of the experience, I learned that what Jesus said was absolutely true, that his yoke was easy and his burden was light. For me, Islam was burdensome. Islam did not give me what I needed where faith is concerned, where relationship was concerned. I needed relationship. I needed relationship with a father. I knew I needed a father. I can't say that enough. And when I studied as a child Islam, God was so extrinsic. He was so far away from us. I could never imagine being a son of God. Couldn't do that. Couldn't be no son of Allah. I couldn't imagine God being a friend, and yet he was a friend to Abraham. And why couldn't he be my friend? I didn't have to see him. I didn't have to touch him. But I had to have at least some basic knowledge that God was personal enough for me to adore him, worship him, befriend him, and tell him my secrets. And I didn't find that in Islam. I found it in Jesus.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. How did that affect your childhood? When did you, at what age did you become a Christian?
14.
14.
14. And my childhood was hell before that, but I didn't know it. And after my conversion, it was hell and I knew it. In other words, my awareness, I guess the best way to say it, my awareness has changed. I realized that I was being persecuted for my faith by my natural father.
Mm.
I was made to suffer for it. And because this thing was so serious to me, it was the only thing I had to hold on to. It was life and light. And so I endured the torture. I endured the beatings. I endured the hangings. I was hung upside down, beaten under the bottom of my feet. My father's philosophy was that the imams teach or taught him, in order to make your son walk in the path, you must chastise the soles of his feet. Well, I don't know about walking in the path, but I know it sure shook up every nerve in the body.
Mm.
You hit the bottom of a person's foot, it affects the whole body. It goes up to the brain center. The end of the brain
Right.
is in the feet.
Right.
The end of all nerves
Right.
at the feet. So it hit you in the feet and send the vibrations up through the body.
Wow.
You do everything. You wet on yourself, defecate, anything else.
Wow. And during that time, did you have a mother's love? Your
I
biological mother?
had a mother's love. My biological mother did not know how to love.
Okay.
She was a juvenile. She had me at 14.
Mm.
And she never developed, how do we say it, socially. She never socially developed. And she was a child to the day she died, right here in Cleveland with me. But my mother, the love I needed from a mother, I did not have from her.
Mm-hmm.
I was her father.
Mm.
I protected her from my father.
Right.
I cared for her. I did her hair. I gave her baths. I fed her. I pulled her out of a hot oven, having had a seizure and passed out in an oven. She was roasting her face and her hands. And I came home for lunch that day from school and pulled her out, pulled her body off, took her to the hospital. So I didn't have a chance to get mother love from her. She was my child. I've been raising children since I was a child.
Right.
I helped raise my mother. By the time I was 10, my mother was, 24?
Okay.
She's still a young girl
Right. Right.
with an abusive 34-year-old husband who just beat the hell out of her whenever he just took a notion. Excuse the hell.
I understand. Well, no, that's real because there are a lot of people who deal with that, and because of your faith in Christ and in God, you came out on top.
Yeah, I came out well. I lost a lot coming out. I lost the love of my brothers. I lost the love of my sister. I gained it back over the years. Now that I'm older, 69, 70, they have a new respect for me and my faith. They get angry with me, but I dismiss them by paying them no attention. But I love them dearly, but I lost them. They would torment me. They would come to my church if I was preaching. They would get up and interrupt the service. They would disrupt the services.
Disrupt the service.
While I'm up. You don't have time for stories because this is a short-lived interview.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I never did, I never lost my manhood when I left Islam and came to Christ.
Okay.
I didn't take on a punk mentality.
Mm.
So I got up to preach.
A punk mentality.
Punk mentality.
Yes.
Scared of
Say
everybody.
It. Say it. Say it one more time. Preach.
I was up preaching at First Church in Philadelphia, Pastor Wallace.
Okay.
And I kept hearing this laughing in the back, this ha, 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 ha. And I looked through the crowd and I spotted my brother.
Hmm.
He's dead now, but I spotted him. And and he had a friend, a Muslim friend with him. Oh, that's a lie. Jesus is the white man's God. And he was using the old party line.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, can I have the choir sing a verse? And I left the pulpit in my robe, went back there where they were, grabbed my brother by his necktie. He wasn't wearing his famous bow tie that day.
Okay.
And I dragged him face first outside. And his Muslim friend ran out after me. And I beat him. I beat him down to the ground until his friend jumped on me. And when my brother saw his friend jumping on me, my brother stopped fighting me and got up and fought him.
Right.
See, there was a strange love and respect between us, the Ellis brothers. We may fight, but we would, hold that thought, and we'd leave a fight with each other and go and beat a neighborhood down. We didn't care because nobody touched an Ellis.
Right.
And I'm still that way.
That's wonderful.
In many ways.
Right.
I have the Lord Jesus now, but everything in me is not gone.
Right.
And I recognize that.
Right. I'm gonna come back to you in a moment. I want to get some conversation from Dr. Sabrina Ellis. You are a dominant force right now, as it relates to ministry, as it relates to standing up for women, mothers, single mothers, being faithful to your husband. You stand for that. What gave you the inspiration, number one, to preach? Have you always wanted to preach? Have you always wanted this life? And number two, what principles do you live by to continue to hold up the standard for yourself to be this example to everyone that you come in contact with?
Well, let me answer one question first, and that is no, I have not always wanted this life.
Okay.
This is not something I set out looking for. Being called to ministry, I knew that earlier than the time I accepted the call, but I did not want to accept the call. I did not want to preach. Growing up, I was very quiet, very timid, didn't like to talk, didn't like to be around people or crowds.
Hold on, I gotta interrupt you now. Wait a minute. This guy here, you mean tell me?
Opposites do attract.
Okay, all right.
The other strange thing about that is we're both the oldest of our siblings.
Okay.
And so, according to some studies in the psychology field, two of the oldest siblings from families should not be working out so well because, we both want to be in charge.
Right.
But that was really, as growing up, never really who I was. I just didn't care. And when I say I didn't care, I meant everybody could do whatever made them happy. Just let me be who I wanted to be. And that was shy. I was very shy and to myself. So I never saw myself being in a pulpit, holding a microphone, speaking to crowds. That was not something that I wanted.
Okay.
But as it relates to ministry to women, and even children, girls, I think that a lot of that comes from the fact that I came from a broken home. Now, I was not raised in Islam, and I did not have the horrible life as a child that Bishop Ellis had. Actually, my father was a pastor. I'm a PK. I grew up with parents who were in the church pastoring together until I was a teenager, and they split up. So I had to wrestle with this contradiction of, you always stay together, you know, you're married to death do you part.
Right.
And now here it is, my parents are not together. And so my mother finished raising me and my siblings on her own. But I think the pain of a broken home and the abandonment of a father kind of steered me into the direction of concern for women who have struggled with the same situation and the need to know that you can still survive, you can still make it. You don't have to die because this relationship is now dead. You just now step into another season and figure out how you're going to make it work. And so I think that was the impetus behind my ministry to women. But when I came into ministry, I did not really know initially what direction it would take. And I tried my best to convince my husband that it would not be the preaching ministry because there was too much in the body of Christ to do besides that. But I've kind of evolved into several different things.
And Paul said, necessity is laid upon me. That's how you